What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 23rd day of January. Here we are sitting at about $0.00699 right now. We've hit a low point of about 0.0064, finding support right here at prior support and resistance points, finding support right here from a low to a high, right at the golden ratio. It's perfect. It couldn't be any better. It's so perfect. And we had the right reaction afterwards as well. We look at this on the 1 hour time frame, and we can see here that we did come all the way down to fill this gap, right? From up here over the last couple of days, we've been talking about the price coming down. We're excited. It's nice that we had some pump, right? The last thing you want to hear is that we're going to pull back. You want to hear we're going to keep going, but I was telling you truthfully and transparently that I think that we're going to pull back to this level to fill this gap, because statistically speaking, every gap on the 1 hour time frame for Coinbase they fill. Like they literally do. And there's been plenty of times that I've seen the gaps not fill and that the price does a 10x or a 100x from a point where a gap was supposed to fill and it never filled. It's not an end all be all. If you're doing your own analysis and you're using gaps by themselves as some type of crystal ball, you'll probably not be led astray for a lot of it, but there will be moments where you are led astray. It's not the end all be all, right? I was so confident we come down here, but I still did not sell even at these highs, even when we had second and third chances to sell here, because it's like a 7% difference. It's just not enough. I tell myself, if I'm going to make a move on something, if I'm going to trade, first off, you don't trade with your whole stack, right? You have to have a hodl stack. You have to have a hodl stack that you don't play with. And then if there's a small bit of that you want to play with, for me, my rule is like, if I can't make 10% on a move, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let it play out. Everybody's different. For some people, they're like, dude, 2% is more than enough. 1% is more than enough. You know, if you make 2% gains every single day over a year, you're going to really kill it. But for me, it's 10%. If I don't, in crypto, if it's not worth 10%, if I can't confidently tell myself that I can get a 10% return in either US dollar value or whatever the asset is that I'm holding, 10% return in those shares, then it's just not worth my time. And this, in my opinion, wasn't worth my time because it's too much risk, right? What if I was wrong? What if we surged, right? It's too much risk. This this is just not worth any kind of gambling, any kind of playing the game right now. And anyways, here we are. Here we are down here nonetheless. It worked out perfectly. You went just below that low, filling the gap effectively. No gaps now. I think we're ready to move up. I mean, we're moving down here, consistently moving down, and there's just no volume. It's gone. It's all gone. There's no volume at all. It's non-existent. Just like when we're moving down here, it's gone. No volume at all. But when we start moving up, oh, look at that. There's a lot of volume. People want to buy. They don't want to sell. They're aware now that the golden ratio held a support. You're not going to get that chance again. Very likely not going to get that chance again, at least from a low to a high. You're also at the golden ratio here. What I will say is that grinding this area out like this, it doesn't mean that you have to go lower, but typically you do. Typically you don't find support. If you find support at the golden ratio, it's like this, right? You find support there. You don't dilly-dally. Dilly-dallying like this typically coincides with going to the 786, 886. So maybe we do go a little bit lower. Maybe we go down to about 0067, 0066. Maybe we do get a second chance to buy down at these levels here. Maybe it is there. But typically in these situations where you're having a hard time breaking through the golden ratio, you rarely see the price go below these points here. It's not that it can't happen, but it's important here. Focus on this right now, okay? So if we move up, we're fine. Okay, none of this matters. But if we move down, if we move below these lows, this is very important. We have to find support here, and then we have to get above the golden ratio. We do not want to find support here and then reject the golden ratio to any degree. There's scenarios where we could reject the golden ratio, bounce here, bounce off the 786, and then continue to climb. But the scenario where we go down to this level or lower, it only happens, it's only feasible if we go down here and then reject the golden ratio to any degree. This becomes a lot more statistically probable. Right now, we're not calling for any of these prices. It's not on the menu. So it's important here that one of two things happens. Either one, we just move up, or two, we find support here and we get above the golden ratio. Have to get back above it. Don't find resistance at it, okay? Short-term resistance is fine, like a little wick, whatever, but it can't be like an actual rejection. 1 hour RSI, looking at this. I mean, overall, I think the RSI is pretty bullish, honestly, on the 1 hour time frame, but it's in a neutral posturing now. You did reject the 50, but you found support at the 40. I don't know. You look kind of good here. Stochastics have bullish implications. The MACD's bearish, but there's bullish divergence, and you really haven't seen that move come yet. I don't know, man. Maybe we don't move down. Maybe we just move up. I mean, finding support at the golden ratio, rejecting the 50, and then coming back down like this, I would have thought that you would go down here already. So the fact that you're still holding actually might be a more bullish implication. Maybe we do just move up. I have to admit the 1 hour indicators give me hope that we don't even move down at all from here. So FOMO, guys. FOMO right now. This is the time to FOMO. 4 hour, not financial advice, obviously. We're at the 40 on the 4 hour RSI. Overall, a bearish RSI, but yeah, we've seen some pretty good things start from bouncing off the 40 before, so we could definitely do that here. And, of course, not to mention we broke out of our downtrend in the RSI. We're at a point to bounce. I don't know. I kind of like that. The 1 hour looks good as well. This doesn't look like a good RSI right here, but there's with the ability of foresight, with the gift of foresight, you can kind of see where this actually might be a good place to bounce right at the 40. It's actually really ideal. And we could really start to turn the beat around maybe sometime next week, Monday or Tuesday. That's when we get into this overbought zone. If we continue to drop, maybe it's at a later date, but I would expect sometime next week we probably do get into that overbought zone. And if we do drop, even from here, if we do drop below this low, we will have a perfect setup for bullish divergence. I don't think we go below that low, though. Stochastics right here, they're reset. They're pretty sad, honestly. But what I will say is this, right? You got oversold, you came up, you rejected, you didn't even get to the overbought zone. This is bearish. This is actually very bearish. Look at what you got. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. It's a bearish indicator with not so bearish price. Like what, a high or low? Like I'm really not intimidated by this at all. I think that's actually a positive sign. The MACD is a little bit bearish though as well. Could be crossing up. I don't know. We'll see. The 4 hour is a bit more neutrally charged with a bearish tilt. It doesn't convince me that we're going to move up directly from here like the 1 hour does, but it could happen. We're definitely at points of bouncing for both of these indicators, and a point of crossing above the zero here would definitely give us enough oomph to send the price higher. So there's definitely the setup there. I just wouldn't be sad. I wouldn't be surprised. It would not throw me off at all if we saw prices that were below these lows. At this point, I'm not calling for that. In the beginning of the video, I was actually thinking I was going to start calling for that. I mean, that was the call, the 786, 886. That's literally what I was saying. At this point, I'm not calling for that. Do be aware of that. Do keep that in mind, right? From a low to a high here. 0.00671 to 0.00656. That's the area that we'll find support at if we go lower than these lows. But looking at the 1 hour and even the 4 hour, I'm somewhat convinced that we actually do move up from here. The 4 hour didn't help convince me, but it didn't. I don't see anything in here that argues against it really. The MACD might be the biggest argument against it, but even then, you're actually right at a point to bounce here with your oscillators. So the 4 hour time frame, it's not that it helps that argument, it just didn't hurt that argument. So I'm going with the 1 hour, which to me looks more clear to the upside than it does to the downside. Daily time frame here, rejecting the 50 is no good. We rejected the 50 yesterday. Sometimes that happens though, and it's just kind of insignificant. Let's see. You know, like here you rejected the 50, you came back up immediately. Here you rejected the 50, it didn't matter. You went up to the overbought zone. You know what I mean? Here you rejected the 50, and then you went up, and then you came down, and then you went up. It really wasn't a big deal. So I don't think OnyxCoin actually really respects its 50 too much. I mean, you find respect around there at times, but I don't think this is a big deal. At least not at the moment. The stochastics are trying to cross out of the oversold zone. With today closing here or higher, we will close out of the oversold zone with the orange line, which I think is actually more important than closing out with the blue line. We continue to move up, or at least not move down too much, and then next week we start to move up. Both of these should be out of the oversold zone. We should be productive going into the end of this month and the beginning of February. The MACD, you know, if we're just boring over the next couple of days, the MACD will continue to come down closer to this zero, and that's a perfect area to bounce from. So that's what I think is going to happen there. Anyways, I've got really nothing else to say. At the end of the day, we're in a consolidation phase, a downward sloping consolidation phase where volume is literally dying off as we go lower. That's very bullish, actually. We're bouncing off the golden ratio. Had a very intense reaction there. We bounced 16% off that golden ratio. Now we're pulling back, consolidating here, finding support at prior resistance. All good structure, all good things, everything that we need to see. I very much believe that we're going to be moving up higher. It's kind of funny, isn't it, actually? You look at this on a daily time frame. This Let's look at it on a 4-hour time frame even. Does this look at this? Doesn't this look kind of similar to what we have on the daily? Do you guys see it? Like, doesn't it look, or maybe on the weekly? Doesn't it look similar? Doesn't this look the same? That's called a fractal. That's wild. That's really wild here. And in which case, maybe bullish recovery here on this segment, right? If it looks like this, bullish recovery here might imply then on a similar pattern that there's some bullish recovery going on. I don't know. Or death might mean death. Life begets life, death begets death in this game here. So anyways, I think we're going to move up. I think we're going to see prices around 10 to 15 cents, maybe 23 cents at the highest by the end of Q1 or perhaps sometime in Q2. I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to end it there. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.